Hello 2D Design. First thing we're going to do is access your drawing from last week. Make sure that you're in layer 1 where your picture is. Kind of turn the opacity up so we can see your picture underneath. Now we're going to start using like the color selection tool to help us kind of get in here and add some detail so we can see some atmospheric perspective. So I selected my color. We're going to work background to foreground here, and I'll let you choose whichever tools you want. If you've tried the watercolor tool, I think it's horrible, but you can certainly use it. I'm going to go with something else. If you want to try watercolor on Procreate, you're certainly welcome to. I'm going to choose the acrylic paint, but you can choose anything that you want that you like. I already selected my color, and I'm going to, of course, choose a new layer. Now I'm going to turn down my opacity so I can actually see what I'm doing on the new layer. And then again, make sure you're on your new layer, right? And I'm going to start drawing here on top of my picture, although I'm in a new layer. So always make sure every time you do something new, you create a new layer, both so it's easy to delete if you don't like what you did, and so we can work on turning down the opacity on your layers. Once you have your background layer done, I'm going to turn my opacity up again so I can select the color. So I can select the color of the next area, which, I'm coming into my middle ground area. Okay, again, maybe you want to try a different brush here. Again, this is just experimentation. So if your mountains have some texture or something on it, or whatever, it doesn't have to be mountains, has texture, you can try to get some different brushes. Again, when you're painting on top, change your opacity down to a low opacity while you're painting, and while you're selecting the color, you're going to want to go back and select the color by making the opacity on your picture much larger. And we're going to keep working this way from background to middle ground to foreground until we have everything done. Notice that you can also change the opacity on the drawing that you did to get rid of all of your black lines. That's something we'll do towards the end. But at this point, we're going to be working with every single section in our atmospheric perspective drawing in a different layer. So every time you change colors, every time you change to a different section, make sure you're adding a new layer to your piece, and you're working between changing the opacity lower on the picture that's the background, and then bringing it up to select your color there at the end.